Coming up this morning, 3 hotel managers in GRA's grip following VAT invoice infractions.
Last year, the collection for VAT was 646, thereabout, million cedis, Ghana cedis.
Also, Ghana's trade vulnerability report reveals concentration of export partnership with Switzerland, China, Canada, and South Africa accounts for over half of all exports.
It's an ability to add value to this 98% before they are exported. That is what we call the structural change.
Plus, Director of Academic Planning and Quality Assurance at Gimpa Business School, Dr. Ebenezer Bugri Anafo, thinks Bank of Ghana may consider printing more money to recapitalize.
Where I stand now, the way out of this situation will be for them to print more money.
My name is Menua Fo. We'll bring you the details of our headlines and many other stories shortly. Thank you for staying with us. In our first story, managers of 3 hotels in Dansoman and North Kaneshie in the Greater Accra region have been arrested by the police for failing to issue value-added tax invoices. Assistant Commissioner of the Accra Area Enforcement Team of the Ghana Revenue Authority, Joseph Annan, says the 3 will aid the police in investigations as part of enforcement of the test purchase program of the authority.
The facilities are Mascot Hotel, Dansoman, Legacy Hotel, North Kaneshie, Kigali Hotel, Sakaman Estates, and the 4th company, Silver Clouds, a wholesale supermarket that issues the VAT invoices selectively to customers, an act that contradicts the VAT law. The custom compliance team of the Ghana Revenue Authority paid an unannounced visit to some retail outlets and hospitality centers in Accra, proven to have defaulted in issuing VAT invoices, although registered with the Ghana Revenue Authority. Assistant Commissioner of the Accra Central Area in charge of enforcement, Joseph Annan, said processes will be expedited to arraign the culprits before courts.
Last year, the collection for VAT was 646, thereabout, million cedis, Ghana cedis. This year, it have jumped up to 1.2 billion. Average. That is by Bank of Ghana governance report. The established, collection for VAT, which works up to around 92.4% increase in the growth of VAT.
The authority intends to continue the exercise to bring sanity in the system and bring improvement in revenue collection.
That was Naniki Amensa Abrampa's report. In more stories, findings from Ghana's 2022 Trade Vulnerability Report indicates that 4 countries, Switzerland, China, Canada, and South Africa, account for over half of all exports. Meanwhile, 6 countries, China, UK, Netherlands, USA, India, and Switzerland, are the source of about half of all imports. The report highlights Ghana's international trade vulnerability.
Ghana's exports are mainly raw materials. Total imports in 2022 were 148.6 billion cedis, while total exports were 144.1 billion cedis, indicating a trade deficit of 4.5 billion cedis. 6 countries, China, UK, Netherlands, USA, India, and Switzerland, are the source of about half of all imports, with highest coming from China. The report highlights Ghana's international trade vulnerability.
Although we see a 4.3 billion Ghana cedis between the exports of mineral fuels and oils, as against the imports of the same classification, minerals, fuels, and oil, it begs the question whether we have fully harnessed the natural resource that since 2011 we've been enjoying. Going forward, what is the strategy to ensure that we see a reverse?
Professor Charles Goffred Aka at the Institute of Statistical, Social and Economic Research observes Ghana will continue to seek support from the IMF if the country does not diversify its international trade.
Can pick such industries, maybe 20 of them, 30 of them, 50 of them, and government can support them with all the tax incentives, all the export, facilitation to make sure that they have access to cheap credit, they have access to training, and they're able to export almost all over the world. Then you can get more export revenue.
President of Association of Ghana Industries, Dr. Humphrey Eyimdake, called for support from government in order to change the trend.
It's an ability to add value to this 98% before they are exported. That is what we call the structural change. The structural rigidity of this economy is what has been demonstrated. We must tackle them head on and transform this said economy.
Ghana's international trade vulnerability has the potential to constrain the strengthening of the economy.
That was a report by my colleague Eben Ejekum Boateng. Now, the Director of Academic Planning and Quality Assurance at Gimpa Business School is optimistic the Bank of Ghana may consider printing more money to recapitalize as a result of the over 60 billion cedis losses recorded in the 2022 fiscal year. According to Dr. Ebenezer Bugri Anafo, the country's current credit ratings leave it little option for the central bank's recapitalization. Bank of Ghana and its subsidiaries recorded a negative equity of 54.52 billion cedis as a result of losses of 60.86 billion cedis during the 2022 financial year. In their key audit matter, auditors of the central bank said the negative equity is considered a key audit matter because it is a significant risk for the audit due to the impact on the ability of the bank and its subsidiaries to meet their operational and debt obligations as they fall due, the ability of the bank to fulfill its policy mandates. These are to maintain stability in the general price levels, support the general economic policy of government, promote economic growth, ensure effective and efficient operation of the banking and credit systems in the country, and the ability of the bank and its subsidiaries to operate as a going concern. Financial analysts have concluded that the central bank is bankrupt. But in its response, the central bank listed the occurrences that led to the losses and concluded that a central bank cannot be bankrupt. Director of Academic Planning and Quality Assurance, Dr. Ebenezer Bugri Anafo, has this to say.
A central bank cannot be insolvent or it cannot go bankrupt because it has other sources of making money. So even in the event that it goes bankrupt, right, the government can bail it out, or it can also borrow from other central banks. But the situation we find ourselves is that the government of Ghana cannot bail it because this is a government that is also being bailed out by IMF. So what I can foresee, where I stand now, is the way out of this situation will be for them to print more money.
That was a report filed by Shadrach Isirifi. Now, the Peasant Farmers Association of Ghana is calling for up to 50% involvement of women in the aggregation system under the Phase 2 of the Planting for Food and Jobs program. Speaking to the media during a workshop, Executive Director of the association, Dr. Charles Nyaba, stressed that this was critical to ensuring a boost in women participation in the agricultural sector.
We have less than 10% of women were benefiting in any form to aggregate produce, to do marketing, and to do value addition. And then if you look at the women themselves, contribution to the entire value chain, in terms of processing, in terms of production, in terms of marketing, they consume about 70%. So how can 70% of people who are contributing to a sector receiving less than 30% of support that is coming to the sector? Okay, so we are not too satisfied with that, and then we think that we'll draw lessons from that and ensure that at least, if for nothing at all, 50% of support that is coming under the PFJ2 should direct towards women.
You heard Dr. Charles Nyaba, Executive Director of Peasant Farmers Association of Ghana. Now take a listen to how the cedi is faring against major trading currencies and how some of our key commodities are faring on the global market.
On the interbank foreign exchange market, where banks trade amongst themselves, the dollar recorded no price change, selling at 11 cedis. The British pound also recorded no price change, and it's selling at 14 cedis. The euro is selling at 12 cedis. It recorded no price change. However, be guided that these figures will be higher at a forex bureau near you. On the global commodities market, Price of cocoa is up by 1.06%, selling at $3,433 per ton. Price of Brent crude oil is down by 1.51%, selling now at about $85 per barrel, while the price of an ounce of gold is down by 0.22%, selling at about $1,903.
That was a trip to the forex and commodities markets. That will be all for Business News on Sunrise. My name is Menwa Fo. For more business stories, please check out our website 3news.com. Stay tuned. Sports News is up next.